Every great story has a beginning, and this one is no different. Our story begins during a downturn in the defense industry and a young electronic components buyer losing his job at General Dynamics in Fort Worth, Texas. The year is 1971, and Paul Andrews, fresh out of a job, takes his sourcing experience and starts a small business helping buyers find parts when they come up short. Sitting at his kitchen table with his Rolodex, $500 in seed inventory, and a pad of pre-printed invoices, Paul focuses on resistors, the parts he had the most difficulty finding when he was a buyer. With his understanding of the products and the buyer's challenges, the business quickly began to grow. Early on, Paul realized that a broad and deep inventory was key to ensuring his customers didn't go lying down, so he reinvested his profits in inventory. His first warehouse, the kitchen, was soon at capacity, and the living room was filling up fast, when his wife told him that if he enjoyed home-cooked meals, he should find another place for his parts. In 1973, Paul purchased his first warehouse, a modest 8,000 square feet on East Lancaster Avenue in Fort Worth, Texas, and he convinced his friend Bob Valdez to leave his job in California to become a partner in the business and sell the pile of resistor inventory Paul had accumulated. By 1975, as fast as Paul could buy parts, Bob was selling them, and soon a young Mike Morton was brought in to work in the now bulging warehouse. The business had grown to $1 million in sales and was once again out of room. Additional floor space was added to the building, and more people were hired. The growth continued as the company entered the capacitor marketplace with the addition of Sprague and other capacitor suppliers. Fast forward to 1980 and the first $10 million year. The business has again outgrown its space, and a 35,000 square foot building is purchased in East Fort Worth. The team was sure they would never run out of space again. Surely. The snazzy new warehouse and Texas roots inspire the first TTI marketing campaign, The Best Little Warehouse in Texas, a campaign that generated a lot of attention and soon became well known in the industry. Years later, people still talk about it. Fueled by the widespread success of the campaign and a growing reputation, the company's first remote locations were brought online in Southern California and Florida. During this era, suppliers granted franchises by state. There were no fast and efficient freight companies like FedEx and UPS, so each office had its own little warehouse to support their local customers. In the mid-'80s, Paul brought industry veteran Jack Darcy in to help run the operations of a company fast approaching $100 million in sales. With Jack on board, the company took its next big leap in product expansion, adding connectors to the line card. The military focus of the company made Matrix Science the perfect complementary supplier. Later in this decade, the company reached number 15 on EBN's top industry list, and TTI was firmly on everyone's radar. The 90s saw TTI once again in need of more warehouse and office space. This time, land was purchased and a worldwide headquarters was built for the now global company as TTI crossed the Atlantic and set up shop in Germany, introducing Europe to the TTI way of doing business and taking care of customers and suppliers. Commercial connectors were added to the line card. Craig Conrad was running sales and marketing. The sales force was expanded, and annual sales reached $500 million. The 21st century took off like a rocket in the industry. Component shortages turned up everywhere. Sales had doubled to $1 billion. The internet was reaching the desks of buyers and engineers across the country. And Paul had begun to consider the catalog business when a small outfit in nearby Mansfield, Texas caught his attention. The timing was perfect for this purchase from the Mauser family. When the wild ride began to slow in mid-2001, TTI, being a veteran by now of industry cycles, no one was riffed. No one. Inventory was maintained, the business model persevered, and the company took the leap across the Pacific into the fast-growing markets of Asia. With the growth engines of Asia and Mauser now strapped on, sales recovered to the previous highs. TTI was firmly established as the leader in passives components. Connectors were growing fast. Acquisition of AMP switch and relay businesses had put electromechanical components on the line card. Life was good. With his 60th birthday behind him, Paul began to think about the future of the company as much as he thought about inventory profiles. Though he was approached over the years, he never believed it was in the best interest of his employees, suppliers, or customers to sell the company to the competition. Then, a friend introduced him to the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett. Warren and Paul hit it off, and Warren, who was famously adverse to high-tech companies, saw in TTI a comfortable way to get involved in technology. What Warren saw in TTI was a technology mutual fund of sorts, led by a tenured, deeply committed founder and management team. As 2006 came to a close, TTI joined the elite Berkshire Hathaway family of companies. Paul was happy, employees were happy, and suppliers and customers were relieved that TTI would remain a standalone distribution option for them. Problem solved, Paul jumped right back to perfecting TTI's inventory. With the company now running above $2 billion in sales, new markets like commercial vehicles were entered, and acquisitions in Asia, Europe, and Israel added to TTI's position in key geographic areas and market segments around the world. In 2008, Gene Conahan, president of Europe and Asia, brought Metallico, the leading connector distributor in France, into the family. In 2012, Sager Electronics, a New England distributor with roots going back to the 1800s, and a strong focus on industrial markets and electromechanical and power components, joined the fold. Embracing the Internet of Things, the specialist was brought on board to communicate the TTI value proposition through videos, advertising campaigns, and a series of digital and printed comic books. The specialist partners with suppliers to solve problems, rescue customers, and generally personify the TTI culture and mission. The global recession hit the industry in 2008. But by 2010, sales were coming back bigger and better than ever. The TTI rocket ship, fueled by the biggest and best component inventory in the galaxy, and run by the most tenured and committed team in the business, continues to propel the company to new records and increasing market share. And of course, sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge of the ship is company founder and CEO Paul Andrews, moving ever forward in his quest to be the best rather than the biggest IP&E distributor in the universe. For over 40 years, the mission of the company has remained unchanged: be most preferred by customers and suppliers alike, and be a home to dedicated, ethical, and hard-working employees who believe in the TTI way of doing things. All engines full ahead, Captain Andrews is looking for warp speed.